Welcome again to the Was This Atlantis presentation.
There's a location in the Western Sahara Desert of Mauritania called the Richat Structure.
Did you go there personally?
No. So I have, in fact, let me give them a shout out. David Stig Hansen went there. It is a gutsy trip.
There's so much that points to that possibly being Atlantis.
I'm David Stig Hansen. I've been to the Richat Structure 3 times now. I'm driven by an urgent need to share a discovery that might just redefine our understanding of our forgotten past. I've started as a Google Earther in this region, but today I've put my boots on the ground to explore what appears to be evidence of a megalithic primordial advanced civilization.
In a previous life, David Stig Hansen wrote a book in Taipei under the pen name Ferrari called Not SARS Just Sex, a non-porn, non-sex tourism look at life in Taipei during the SARS outbreak of 2002. This book doesn't just draw parallels, it literally demonstrates that the COVID-19 narrative is almost a repeat of the SARS 2002 narrative, highlighting both the Wuhan lab and wet market origins of Patient Zero. Not SARS Just Sex is available for free on Amazon Kindle. The sequel, The Oil Sands of Alberta, is also available, and a third book is on the way. Stay tuned for more adventures, and don't forget to subscribe and share.
Stop what you're doing and subscribe immediately to David Stig Hansen's YouTube channel at youtube.com/@Stig. If you're interested in uncovering one of the greatest mysteries in history, this is the place to be. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button right now. After you've subscribed, make sure to like and share the videos to help spread this groundbreaking information.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Can you hear me? Now's your chance to comment. And if you can hear me, you got to turn that off, I guess. Oh, that's kind of dumb. I don't have. Oh, there it is. Loop. I'm going to unloop. Although I don't know how long I'm going to pay for StreamYard. This is StreamYard. I paid, so I'm able to play this music. I don't know what happened to my face. Yeah, anyways, it doesn't matter. Let me just try this. I want to test something. See, that's a background and of me and Praveen Mohan. And why does it have that stupid logo on top of it? Or is that something that you can't see? I don't know. Okay, let me look at the comments. Please let me know if you can hear me. And I'm going to take my face off because I don't have a webcam hooked up right now. Big remodeling going on. Let's just call it that. All right. Why are we here today? Because a troll said, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I don't have anybody saying they can hear me. And I had a little microphone problem. So I really want to see if I can hear myself. I'm just going to do a quick test. And then we'll go from there. Let's see here. Content and live, right? This is live. And I'm just going to log in and see if I can hear myself. Make sure I'm not talking dead. And yeah, what about that thumbnail? Oh, I have an ad. I used the wrong browser. Dang it. Sorry. Oh my gosh, that's inconvenient. Don't worry. Okay, here we are. Okay, there we go. I can hear myself. That's over. We're done now. Thanks for sticking with me while I check that. All right. Well, what else is there to do here? Get back into the point of this video, and that's down here. Sorry about my face, but look how happy I am over in the Atlas Mountains, because I now know this was Atlantis. Okay, the Mauritanian country was named by the French in like the 1800s, Mauritania, but that comes from the Roman. It's in this presentation. I might as well show you. The Roman map shows Mauritania was the Atlas Mountains. I don't want to go over everything, but I want to address when the troll says there's nothing there. And we'll go to the map. I've got my really nice map out, but I've got this presentation, the 94-mile long canal type road. I don't have a link for that here, but you can go to my Was This Atlantis and you can look at this yourself. And I traced that all the way across the Sahara Desert. The quarry field, 6 miles long, straight parallel lines. That's not how jointing works, okay? Geology mainstreamers, if you want to call that jointing, I want you to tell me how a parallel line is predispositioned in sandstone or limestone for that long time. This is bedrock. What Archaic Lens discovered, in my opinion, it's a YouTube discovery, because the people who live there already knew about this. And there's all these Paleolithic hand axes. And Graham Langdon from Archaic Lens, he was the first YouTuber to go to the Richat Structure when Jimmy made the call. Somebody's got to go there. He got there first, before Josh Sergeson by 5 minutes, before me by about a year or a month or whatever. Not a month. And then when I went there, I went to this area, didn't see stuff like this because I couldn't get down off the top of the plateau that day. And he went down there and somebody showed him this field of Paleolithic hand axe heads. Definitely proves ancient civilization of some sort. Yes, Paleolithic. And yes, it's proving that they were more hunter-gatherer-esque with these hands. It wasn't really advanced as I'm claiming. But when you go back to the quarry field that I showed everybody, where I didn't make it because I was detained on my 4th trip, that's where I was headed. And now I need now I'm kind of stuck because of my personal situation. I'm stuck here. I can't travel. But next time I go there, I'm going here. And you can't see this from the ground, but there's that one thing that most of you know about. Now, these lines probably were not created by these tools, okay? And what I'm implying here is that there were several events. The first event was these quarry cuts were done with ancient megalithic knowledge that we do this now, by the way. When we quarry into a bedrock nowadays, we use explosives, we make lines, and we blow up lines at a time. It goes down. Usually there's a cliff at that point, so it goes down the cliff, and then they gather it all up and process the material. Whatever they were doing here, it was a kind of a different story. They were removing the top layer of overburden and getting down below at least one layer, and then they were not taking out blocks, in my opinion here, but more processing material in terms of retrieving. There's 2 types of quarrying that I see. There's the type of quarrying that's over here, right here. This place, you see them removing blocks. But the truth is the first event was creating that line, that serpentine. And that was actually now being quarried from. So there's 2 events at least. This was a major quarry field. And then we have this one right by the Richat Structure. The slide I'm trying to get to, the theme of this video today is, what ancient things can I show you that prove there was a civilization here? I think that this proves there was a Paleolithic civilization, but we kind of already know that. We just don't recognize that they were doing mining of any type. This is something that I wanted to go to on my second trip, and it was just so far out that I just couldn't get there. So maybe I can get there on my third trip. We want to know, is this a canal? Is this a wall? We don't have the three-dimensional image of this. We don't have any actual photographs of this. That we call that, what do we call that? I call that Michelle's canal, because Michelle Chen was the one that showed it to me first. Now, this is my mound. That's down in South Africa. We're not talking about that. But, I mean, look at these, the alignment you see here of these three mounds together. One, the front mound, and then in the back, you have two mounds. I can show you that in Utah. I can show you that same structure in Utah. Okay, this, we already talked about this so many times. I'm not going to get into the fact that Plato never said it was an allegory. Timaeus twice, it's a true story. Critias 3 times, it's a true story. I'm heading towards things that we see from Google Earth that demonstrate there was ancient civilization. Can I prove that Hercules created these two pillars? These are the pillars right here, okay? Now, recently, I was told by ChatGPT that the Spanish area of Quito, I think I said it right, is over. It's over. Here's my mouse. To the left of this, there's a spot area in Morocco that's actually still owned by the Spanish. The one on the right is the Rock of Gibraltar. We learned about this, and we learned all our lives this was one of the pillars of Hercules. But people are like trying to say, oh, no, there were different pillars. Okay, well, it's just my education, and that's mainstream. I'm losing customers, so I'm going to move on. But I just want to let you remember that I did go there, and I do believe. Oh, I got some quotes. I mean, some chats. Here, let's take a look. What did you say here? Truth Toad. You said, I think we revert to these tools every time the Earth spits us back to square one with a cataclysm. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's reverse. I don't think they belong to one point in time. Well, nobody does, do we? Nobody belongs to one point in time. We're all part of a timeline. And who created time? The people who created time did it so they could make money, in my opinion. Back down here, I'm not going to talk about what the actual ancient Greeks said. Okay, but I did break it down that nobody said, yeah, I guess I am, that nobody said it was out in the middle of the Atlantic. They said it was at the Pillars of Hercules, and they were referring to Cadiz as well. Cadiz is at the Pillars of Hercules almost. Yeah, Cadiz is on the Atlantic side. True. But it's not way out in the middle of the Atlantic. And all these words here, this is the research. There's nothing that points directly out into the open Atlantic in what Plato wrote. He mentioned the Atlas Mountains, okay? He mentioned the fact that the circles were south of those mountains. The only mountains in this whole map here that Herodotus and Plato knew about, they were, sorry, I'm looking at the comment. They were the Atlas Mountains. That's the only mountains that Herodotus and Plato knew about. There were no mountains in the Iberian Peninsula that Herodotus and Plato knew about. Cadiz was across from, that's what Plato wrote. Cadiz was across from the allotment that the twin of King Atlas received. Okay, so King Atlas was south of the Atlas Mountains, and we're talking about really, I don't care about King Atlas as much as his father, Poseidon, and Plato story, and the circles. Now, of course, King Atlas probably developed that kingdom more. Truth Toad says that you meant the Clovis tools. Yeah, and I can show you something in New Mexico near Clovis. By the way, there are strikes from the Younger Dryas event in Clovis. There are, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the Antonio. Sorry, now I'm having a brain fart. Anyways, the circles all over. So Carolina Bays. Okay, there are Carolina Bays in Texas and all over Clovis, New Mexico. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Okay, getting back. Let's keep moving to evidence we can see. Now, this is good evidence right here about the main theory. Because why am I on this theme at all? Because I've recently been researching the ancient Paleolithic river named Tamanrasset. I call it the Atlas River from the Atlas Mountains. But it's Paleolithic, meaning it doesn't exist anymore. And I hope you watched my previous video that I talked about this shoal of mud right here. I mean, look at the idea. This is an impassable barrier of mud. Do you think that the Azores would create an impassable barrier of mud out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? I don't think so. No, I think that there's probably something a little closer. And since he did mention Africa very clearly, this is the thing that blows my mind. Everybody thinks they can get away with saying, oh, Plato never pointed. No, he did. He pointed right there. He pointed right there. I can go over it again and again. Okay, moving past that, there's that shoal of mud. Okay, I'm telling you, the Piri-Reis map shows the Paleolithic river very clearly. Very, like, there it is. Now, where is it going? Into a mountain. Now, is it the Atlas Mountains? Clearly not. Is it the Azores? Sorry, no. Is it, sorry, I meant to say the Adrar Plateau, which is the Little Atlas Mountains in modern day Mauritania, where the Richat Structure exists. It's right there. And what's this circle over here? And why are there two? Didn't I just show you a new one? So we have several examples. There's the Richat right there. There's the shoal of mud right there. And there's where the river came out. You can even see these dots right there. These dots represent the river's pathway into the open Atlantic. But I can show you more. There's so much more. I just haven't gotten there yet. Thank you for joining me, Truth Toad. This is a live stream, so you're allowed to make comments and give me your opinion. Just don't ride me too hard if you don't agree with me. Okay, so this is basically the ancient Paleo River past, according to mainstream, but I've changed that already. I'm done believing it went over this area here. I think that it followed this line. You can see very clearly. Probably went out here, but also probably came around and went out here as well. Delta, I mean, look at what they did here. I don't even understand this. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 outlets. But don't forget that this area had a shoreline still. This is before the floodwaters rose 400. Hey, Tony Lightwork, I was just about to talk about you. I will get to that because I have it open in another page. I'll be right there. Wait, Baked Nerd says, I always thought the river that pools at here and here goes basically in a straight line before it splits here and here. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to grab those. I don't know how to do it. I can't. Can I? Can I copy this? I can ban you. No, I'm trying to. I can't do it. Dang it. I can't copy those coordinates, so I'll have to type them in or something. I know how to do it. We'll get Sting. I'm not Sting. What do you mean? I'm Stig. Okay. Anyways, so let's. So here, somebody explain to me how this narrows down to 1. That doesn't make sense to me. But at the same time, I haven't done a lot of research on all this. I just looked at it again. By the way, look at this one over here. This one's not headed over here. It actually looks like it's going towards Nouakchott. And I do believe that since we all know that rivers change, this is just one photo of a previous river. Well, I still wanted to answer your question better. 1935. Okay, and let's just go. Let's close this for now. This is a free-form live stream. I got Tony Lightwork had something that he posted, and I wanted to share it. It's right here. There you go, right? Isn't that you? And if it's not you, I thought that's your group, Katap Pseudology. And you're talking about basically other sources of the Atlantis story from Egypt. And now, I won't get into this right now. I wanted to keep going with the point. Okay, so let me get rid of these photos. They're just too distracting. Although when we zoom in, look, there's not even a single photo in Mauritania when we back out this far. You notice that one? Not a single photo in Algeria. When you zoom in, they appear. But where were we going? I wanted to see those numbers. 19 by 12. Okay. I can basically zoom in a little bit right here. And I'll try to get, that's 9. Okay, I have to do this. Oh, there's 12. No. 19 is this way. Up. Wait, which way am I going? Let me just go up. So back down, I guess. Okay, so see how hard this is without actual coordinates? 12 is over here. Let's go to 12. Where's 12? Okay, we're close. There's 12. Boom. All right, now where's 19? 19 must be down here. Southwest of the Richat in the rocky areas. Okay, what I call that is the lower Adrar Plateau. Thank you for that help. We'll go here. Is there 12? 12, and where's 19? Up? Down. It's down. All right, let's go down a little farther. Now let me check this out. You said the river that pools at 1935, 11, and 1235. 1935. There's 35. Sorry, if you don't know what I'm looking at the numbers in 1935. Boom. Let's zoom into that real quick. Yeah. I don't know about it. Oh, yeah, you're talking about the 50-mile long canal. There's a little pool there, and it's a split off. Let me make sure. Is that it right here? That's not the canal. What's this? Why do I see straight lines? That's just an artifact. 1935, and what is it? Here, let me just show it to the public. 1935, 11. So I can go up. I got to zoom out to do this. Too close. No, there's a lot of wonders in this area here for sure. Am I going up or down? Okay. 1935, 11. I think you're talking about the beginning of the 50-mile long canal, which is something that I really wanted to show because honestly, it points right there. And that's why we're here. I'm going up and down. I don't know this pool you're talking about. 3511, that's there. Now I just got to go over to the 123504. Which way is that? 12. Let's get over here. 123504. Is that down? 1235. Sorry. Right here? What did I do wrong? I went too far? 123504. I'm going the wrong way. See, I don't see it. Okay, you must be talking about this right here, right? That 1235. Nope. Still not there yet. Keep going. I'm almost there. Look at those straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll tell you what I think that is. 12. Why am I not there yet? Let me just back out again. There's so much to see in here. I can get lost for hours, and I have 1235. Okay, where are we? Yeah, you're talking about this. Okay, that's it. This is the beginning of the 50-mile long canal. All right. That's not you. Okay. No problem. I thought that was you. Okay, I think you invited me to join that. And you were the one, not that, but you're the one who told me that it was the why are you adding an sorry, I'm so ADHD. Why are you adding an R? Are you saying it like Jimmy did back in 2018, the Richat? No, it's the Richat. There's no R. The only R is at the beginning. In Arabic, they say Richat. Richat. Okay, it's long. It's long. What is long? Yeah, it's a 50-mile long canal. I'm going to go over it right now. I'm going to start it right now for you. I just want to know what glyphs. Oh, you have the glyphs. Yeah, you showed me the glyphs. I want to go over it again, though, because I've been really busy and I've been losing. There we go, Baked Nerd. Okay, let's do this first because people say, oh, and I'm going to be honest with you. My first trip, I've been there 3 times. And my first trip, when I came back from the Richat Structure, I had really you can't see anything from the ground, okay? You can't see anything. And I was a little heartbroken because I didn't have any findings, really. But I really did. I just didn't realize it. I did walk down one of the canals. Not this one, but the two that are right up here. So this one right here, if we zoom in, we see that's pretty much the beginning point that I can find. And yes, it's very prominent. And yes, Bakener just said that there was a place where water gathers, and that is, where is that water? Right here? No, it's back. The water is right here at the beginning, right? Where's the water at? There? Okay, let's just follow it. We're going to find the water. Sometimes Google Earth loses it. And you wonder to yourself, what's before that? And where does it point? Well, it points right at a river. And if you look at the ancient maps show that connection. That's why I'm trying to line it up. Okay, we have this Senegal River right here, and we can find remnants of different systems going down to there. This right here is a river that used to go down to Senegal. I think that canals have been covered up. But we're starting with the actual canal stuff. And yes, we're going to do this because it points right at the Richat structure. Let me just find, where is it now? I got lost? It's right down here. We're going to find that part you mentioned. There it is. And you can already see the line right here. So that means that I need to point it this way because that's where the Richat structure is. Let's put it right in the center. We're going to follow this real quick to prove that this river goes on 50 miles. It's a canal. Let me back out and show you where it points. There's the mouth of the Richat. I told you I was going to get rid of these photos, and I never did. They at least start to show up, right? And actually, there's a bunch of new ones. I should probably go through these a little bit better. But usually it's pictures of trees and stuff. So the Richat is right at Wadan. Wadan is the mouth. It's a little to the left, but pretty much that's a good point you can work with. And when we zoom in here, we can see right there that that's not pointing at it, but it quickly adjusts. Where is that water that you mentioned just now? And you can see a line, and yeah, maybe a landslide or something took out this area, but it quickly comes back, and that's where the water is, right? That's where the water is. So let's get to your main point, because you were talking about this water. Am I not correct? And you said, I always thought the river that pools here. Okay, now I didn't follow. It splits into two. I know where it splits into two. I'm not going to do that again. So I think what you were saying here is you thought this was the Taman Rasset. You always thought the river that pools here and goes basically there was always quite interesting. Okay, all right. So this is interesting. Yeah, no, let me tell you something. I haven't been there, but I've sent people there. Okay. There is water right here. There's water here. And I'm going to just tell you, there's trees growing there because there is water underneath the ground. This was probably moving water for 50,000 years. All right, I'm sorry. My mouse was on the wrong screen. And look over here, you've got some water over here too. Okay? So there's definitely a water table going on in a sense. You've got water that's exposed. Why is it still here? Because it can't get absorbed underneath. There's more water over here in this, what looks more like a real river, modern day damming, agriculture stuff. And you can follow this river down quite a bit. And yeah, it was probably part of the system, but I'm talking about this. Now, that's not a river. That is like a canal. We're going to follow it 50 miles right now. And look how you may have had some entry points that have gone missing. And here that splits. And when I see these things, I used to think I'm crazy. But now I do believe they were some type of part of the system. Look at this line going along here straight. Why is that happening? Because it was part of the system. I do believe these shorelines were quarried. You can see how it kind of starts to disappear. We're going to back out so we can line it up with the distant continuation of this 50-mile-long canal. And by the way, this isn't the only canal. Plato wrote about the matrix of canals throughout a 200 by 300 square, 200,000 by 300,000 square kilometer system. Now, look, you may say it disappeared. It didn't disappear. Here we've got a cliff of bedrock, an outcrop, whatever, an escarpment, but you can see how this was cut through. You see that in a lot of places here. Now it has disappeared again, but you can see the straight line. You have a tree growing right on the straight line. Why is the plants growing in the middle of this desert where there's no other? There's a couple other. I'm not going to try to lie to you. Here's another outcrop bedrock that's been split by this canal. Okay, I'm going to go back to the slideshow in a second to show you what those guys found in there. And it's up to you to believe or not believe it, but don't say, oh, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's obvious that it wasn't Atlantis because there's nothing there. Okay, do you see how this outcrop here and here were defined by this canal? I'm going, sorry. Frog in my throat. I do also believe that when you see stuff like that, that's been quarried or worked. I do believe that. Yeah, there are some instances where it could be natural jointing, but what I see is not. And then here you can see a junction. Let's go look straight down at this and back out a little bit. You can see a junction. Something was going on. So if you do more research, like all sorts of different things can be done. And when you look over here, you see other straight lines. You see that one? So you see other canals too, but not as prominent as this one. When we back out, you can see that line just cutting. I'm going to back up a little bit. You can see that line just cutting through, and it's about 100. I can't remember how wide. And yes, it splits off into two, as you mentioned. And it's like, okay, two-way traffic. You sometimes see that in real world situations. Okay, there's one more prominent cut through, or are we already there? Is that the two-way? There it is. That's the two-way traffic right there. I think that's the main one, and that's the second one. Just like we have two-lane interstates. Now, when you get out here, what's going there? Wait, I've never seen that before. What's that? I've never seen that before, and trust me, I've been here a lot, and you know what? That's why we need to go here in the Mauritanian map. I'm sorry, in the satellites.pro, which is a form of Apple Maps. Where am I? One of the problems with this is you're not able to rotate it. So I'm kind of stuck. I know that the beginning is there and it goes through and we're out here now. But let me go back to the Google Earth to find this exact thing. That's very interesting, right? But what I was bringing you out here in the middle of nowhere to show you were the plants that are actually still growing about, where are they? It's a line of trees. And they follow the canal path, and it just kind of shows you that there was probably something else that promoted water. It's not way out here. I'm going too far. Where is it? Let's just follow it exactly, because when you walk out, or when you whatever, there it is here. When you go out this path, and is it just right here? That's not it. There's trees there, and you can kind of see a line still. But there's one line of trees way out here, and you're like, what? Why are they so straight? Well, because I'm not finding it. But you see other stuff out here. What's this? That's quarrying, in my opinion. When you see those straight lines, I don't know. Maybe I'm cray-cray. I can't find the line of trees. Where are they? Am I looking the wrong way? Are they way out here? Maybe they are way out here. There they are. There we go. Look at that line of trees. You could live there. And they follow the same quarry line. So what I just found right there, oh, they're so close. Okay, so what we really need is let's get coordinates and try to plug them in. Let's try that first, because I don't have time to be. Unfortunately, this doesn't rotate, and that's a problem. Am I going to go there? Nothing found, it says. No, go. Zoom in. Okay, it's not going to do it. Let me just do it in a different way then. That's the unfortunate thing about satellites.pro. Okay, so when I look at this here, I see this triangle of white sand. Now I can go back to the Mauritanian map and find that triangle of white sand right here. Oops. And then we find that opening where, because I'm going to tell you this map is so much more pretty. There it is. And look, there's even a road. It even shows a road there. But that's really not what I was looking for. I'm looking for the line of trees And then I'm going to go over to that thing that we saw. Oh, there it is. That's what we saw. Let's just look at the trees again real quick. There they are. So this line of trees, in my opinion, is following this ancient canal path into an open ancient seabed, in my opinion. Where's that thing? Okay, what is this? This is weird. It's big too. It's a big, huge, weird twist of some kind of a serpentine. Look at that part. That's weird. I can't get any closer, or I would. That thing, very interesting. What is it? What's the geological explanation for that? It's a long. It's not even a river. Because okay, I'm sorry. How do I do this? I go up here. Yeah, there are parts that resemble junctions. I can show you others. It is awfully straight for a river. And yeah, that's not what rivers do. I just watched a recent video, and I do like to look at mainstream geology stuff to try to understand the mainstream understanding. That thing looks to me like it was kind of a wall. I'd like to see it up close. I can't get any closer. Let's go back to Google Earth and take a look at it. Where was that? Oh, see, I'm so off. I got to find the... I just go here. Since I had the coordinates handy, I'll just plug them in and go straight in. All right, so this thing here is very interesting. I'm seeing some lines here. Let me get rid of that. I bet you those coordinates pretty much match the ones you gave me. Let me just take a quick look. 200506. This says 200846, and then 12 11 18, and this says 12 9. It's pretty close. And yeah, you were talking about the split. I don't know what we're looking at here, though. I mean, it goes out of focus, unfortunately. We can always look at the history, see if we can find any better scans of it. You know, I doubt it. Oops, let's do it this way. Go there. It's not going to get better. I can always tell you. It's going to get worse. Yeah, that's a lot worse, right? So that's why we're turning history off, because they usually give you the best scan this way. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but it looks like a yard. It looks like an enclosure. I know that it could be natural, but it just looks funky. Okay, we're out of here. We're out of here because I'm going back to the topic, which is showing you evidence of ancient civilization. Now, these parallel canals enclose the highest point on the Richat structure. Sorry, it's not the Richat structure. It's the Adrar Plateau that surrounds the Richat structure. Apparently, the Adrar, the word Adrar means little atlas. Sorry, I was clearing my throat. I walked down this canal. This is 20 miles long. I didn't walk the whole 20 miles, and it's very prominent cut through the bedrock down here. The part that I walked down wasn't this part, and you can't even drive a car across that. The parts that I went to, I should have figured out how to drive closer. I actually hiked a kilometer because I was stupid. I didn't know what was going on. Okay, that thing right there to me is a junction. That was an entry point or a drainage. I believe this could have been flood control, in my opinion. But when you cross this area here where you kind of lose the canal, you start to see more trees. Then the canal reappears, and this is getting closer to the part I walked through. And so I got to go back there, and there's a place I can drive to, because if you compare it, let's go back to my presentation. If you compare it, slideshow, and then we're going to get to the canal. Oh, did we pass it? Okay, let's go back to the canal. Wait, how far back did we go? Okay, what happened was I wanted to show some stuff up front first thing and tell everybody there's a canal there. And we're going to see more in the future. That 50-mile canal that I just showed you, that area here is where the Russian team, and their name is there, Atlantis Tours, atlant.gg. you can get their data from what I find. They found this thing, and it looks like just some kind of crystallized rock here, but it actually has form. And I'm going to show it to you later on. But the other picture is those guys standing in the canal. That canal is like 50 feet deep. Okay, not that. That's like 50 foot deep right there. And the one that I was just talking about, the one that I visited, I'm just going to scroll through these really fast. I'm not going to talk about anything. I got to shut my mouth and not get distracted. I might say a couple things. The 50-mile canal info is way down here. I won't get into all this. Maps. There's that one map that shows where Mauritania used to be. So King Atlas of Mauritania wasn't down in modern day Mauritania. There's a junction of a canal that's north. That's a junction. That's a 4-way stop right there. Those are the two canals I was just showing you that I walked down. That arrow points to where I walked. I didn't have a big team. I had one driver. And here you can see the terraforming that created that canal. That's the other canal that I haven't been to. That's the picture of the 50-mile long canal where the Russian team found that artifact. They were down there. That's them. Those are people. That arrow's pointing to people. I call it the Richat Canal. They call it something different. We can call it what we want because it's never been officially recognized. And there it is right there. You can see how it points right at the mouth of the structure. You can see at the end, I'm going to put my mouse right here where it splits in two. I don't remember this cross point here, that red thing. There's another canal here. I've got all sorts of canals. If I go into Google Earth, I can pull up my file. Let me get a new Google Earth so I can start from scratch. It'll help me find it faster. And when it opens up, it takes me to my files. And then I can look at these things here. I think this is the one. I could be wrong. That's it. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. That's okay. I don't know. Where's the map? Why is it not showing the satellite? There we go. And as you can see, that river I was telling you earlier, I believe that this river system is what brought everything down to the Senegal River. I think we have a straight line here and we have a whole group of ancient canals here, riverside canals that are found all over the world. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a pretty good one, but I'm just going to take you right there real quick. Where are we here? So this is the canal that I was talking about. We're going to go over to the Caspian Sea and look at some incredible river-related earthworks right here. Okay, this is, you can try to say those are modern day if you want, but to be honest, those were obviously, that was a matrix of canals at one point that dealt with the river. That is the Caspian Sea, but what it used to be were a bunch of straight lines that went into the river. And if you say it's modern day, I might challenge that. Now, another one that is very similar is down here in the Sahara Desert. This one is a good one. That is the Lake Chad. It used to be the Mega Lake Chad, right? And if you go around there near the ancient shorelines, you can find some lines. The ones I actually was going to show you that I can show you quickly is here near Timbuktu. Where are we? There's Timbuktu. Over here near Timbuktu is some of those also ancient canals. Now, this is what Plato wrote. So it possibly is part of that canal system. Plato had specifications of 600,000 square kilometers. So can you measure that distance right now? How many kilometers away? That's 1,000. So that's a little far for Plato, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a part of it. In fact, if you look at this area closely over here on this large mountain, you can clearly see how it was quarried on the top, shaved down, straight lines. You see a lot of that attributed to ancient, I should say weathering and jointing. But in my opinion, you can, if you study this long enough, you'll start to see how it was actually some other type of, in my opinion, quarry cuts to relieve the plateau of its overburden. You don't see blocks coming out of here, so maybe they were quarry. I don't know, but I do believe that this is a good example of ancient megalithic quarry cuts. And I can show this all over the Sahara Desert, but I want to try to continue with a straight point. Let me just say one more thing. I was showing you these two canals here. In the other one, they're here. Let's look at it this one so you can see them. They're not very, where are they? Okay, so they're not here, but let's just go back to the other map. This line and this line separate the highest point on the Adrar Plateau. I call it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because it has the nose. But if you look, the nose has been bisected. I believe this mound was created by ancient people, whoever was quarrying this top. And the other mound down here also has a line cutting through it. I have pictures of that from the ground. I drove the truck. I didn't go down here. And don't mind the ancient tumuli either. That is a different event. But I drove the truck right here and I got a picture. You can see that cut through the mound very clearly. What was it and why is it there? And why does it continue to connect to the highest point in the Adrar Plateau? So those mounds, which has a name, this little one has a name. This one doesn't have a name. Not sure why. But if you go to this highest point, you can start to see the quarry cuts, the parallel quarry cuts. Don't tell me that's from water erosion, because those quarry cuts go across the whole feature to the other side. Okay, see? And the one at the nose, let's find the nose again. The one, oh, what's that? Oh, there's another tumuli. There's a little one here too. So the one at the nose goes straight through to about here, kind of shifts over a little bit. I do believe that they were doing a relief shift, but then it comes all the way through to the other side and you can see those straight lines. I don't think that's how joining's supposed to work. I think I can show you where I took a ruler and lined it up. I can do that kind of here. Let's do it. Here's the nose again, right there. And we got the line going through it. And don't forget, we have this other line going through this one. And so there's two of them that are parallel. And it stops about here at the ancient shoreline or plateau cliff line. You can see one that kind of goes through, but let's focus on the straight line I'm trying to show you here. I'm gonna follow at the top of the browser so I have a straight line, and I think I want to change it just a little bit more to about here. Whoops. Okay, let's just keep going. And we get out to the other side. I have it a little bit below the top. So when we get to here, you can see it right there. I feel that that's a connected line. Now, these 45-degree, maybe you can call it 45. I call those relief cuts because if you just have a bunch of parallel lines, the material is going to still stay in there. But if you actually make these 45-degree relief cuts, then it's going to loosen up that material faster and easier. Okay, so those are those straight parallel lines, and they're not the only ones. Over here, Emiert, we have it all over the top of this plateau. And when you get over, and by the way, it was Michelle Chen that showed me first how when you follow this, what I think is a shoreline, you start to see some straight parallel quarry lines all over this area. Definitely 45-degree and straight. Look at how straight that is right there. Look how it keeps on going straight. Now I have angled this, and by the way, that angle is my favorite 45-degree ancient axis because I find so many where they line up just off like that, where it goes across the screen like it's east-west. It's not east-west because if you look at my compass, you see I've got it at this angle. The mounds in Utah are at this angle. These mounds are at this angle that I just showed you. If you look at these mounds, I'll go over to them. You'll see they're straight north-south now. See? See how they're straight up and down? I can adjust it a little bit, get them straight up and down. Now, I don't know whether this was north and south or if this was east and west. You know, it could have been the other way around. Maybe this direction, what is today west. And by the way, it's not even north-south. It's 45 degrees off. So it's not even a 90-degree shift. It's a 45-degree. I call it ancient axis because I see so many, but I'm not somebody who really believes. Look at the canal that I walked down right there. Do you see how it not only comes to here, but it literally comes all the way down to this ancient river system? That's why I think that this line is so important. Where am I? And by the way, don't forget this straight line from here. Yeah, there's a little nub that got in the way here, but it cuts through this here very, very clearly as a straight line, especially when you back out. You can see it goes all the way over to here. So if you want to say that there was some type of cataclysmic ground movement, or maybe they just created a go around. I think that this, and by the way, one more thing, this straight line here and this straight line here is exactly 100 degrees. If you take a compass, what do they call those things? Not a protractor? No. Sorry, I had another brain fart. Somebody tell me what they use to measure degrees of a circle. All right, let's get back into the next evidence. Okay, let me go to my presentation because I really feel like that. Okay, so the next evidence I can just tell you is right here. It's still in Mauritania. It's right about where that circle appeared. It's going to take me forever to find it, but I think it's right here. I think I got it like right here. If I can't find it this way, I'll find it another way. You got to get really close before you can see it, unfortunately. It's not that big, but it is a perfect circle. Where is it? There? Is that it? Wow, what's that? No. Let me try one more time. We gotta align it north-south. That's the problem. That's why I'm failing. I always never get it. I never get it. All right. Since I've already tried twice, the way to find stuff like this is you go to my page called Was This Atlantis? And I have it right here. We just scroll down to find it. I got a bunch of stuff that I find, a lot of straight lines, a lot of junctions, a lot of weird things. That's the new structure I'm mentioning. Now, I've shown this a lot of times and how it aligns with that ancient axis. It's right here. Let me just zoom out so you can see how I'm going to have to learn how to find it faster for when I go on Joe Rogan. Let's see here. I'm perfectly north-south. So if I take that and I center it with the Richat structure, it does what I show. And look at the canals that are going through it. We got this fissure here, the serpentine wall here. Or is that a canal? Is that a canal or is that a wall? When it has two like that, and look how it covers that one. Maybe one was stopped being used. Maybe it used to have an intersection. This one goes at an angle. And that thing, sorry, I can't speak. That thing right here, I call that a wall, even though it has a double ridge. It could be a road, a transport road. It goes across the top of that. You're telling me that's natural. And then it goes in a weird direction that's like separate. Like you got one going here, you got one going here, and you got one going right straight down the middle. Okay, and those are walls, not canals. Well, this is the canal, but there's also walls in here. Now, let me get to my presentation so I can talk about that. Where it was those slides. Okay, that's the wrong presentation. Sorry. We can talk about that next time. I'm just trying to find the slides that coincide with that. This is all, there's a purpose, okay? Now, I still haven't gotten to this find because I'll show you those slides later. But now here we see that item I just showed you connected to the center of the Richat makes a perfectly parallel line to the ancient equator alignment. And that is a line that connects Giza to Easter Island. Say what you will. Say what you will with it. All right. Not many new comments. Oh, wait. I do have it. No, I'm not talking about minutes. I'm talking about a protractor. Look, this is what happens when we have to just ask ChatGPT stuff that you should memorize every day. What's that thing, that tool that measures the degrees in a circle? Protractor, 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 protractor. Okay, I got it right, but it just didn't seem right. It's Saturday morning, and I have to admit I had a lot of white flour last night. So when you use the protractor, you see 100 degrees measuring that straight line here. Wait, the one that you can see right here and right there, that straight line measured with a those two straight lines, junction point would be where you start the measurement, right? And it's 100 degrees. I think it's pretty perfect. Okay, I forgot what I was going to show you. I'm showing you this. I like to put it on the slideshow, but I want to find the slide. Okay, so we talked about this. So we're done with this for now. We might go back to it. The theme of this live stream. I need to get rid of that. Sorry, it's hard for me to get the mouse in the right spot. Yeah, so I want the theme for today's video is to provide evidence that there was an ancient civilization here. Now, this one is talking about the Sebket El Guelb. It's a crater that's at the target center ring of the Richat. Wouldn't this be more likely, this continuation in the center of the Richat? But instead, the mountains are missing, and instead you have this circle. If you say that's not a perfect circle, well, that's because the alluvial fans have reached the rim. But if you take the alluvial fans away, you'll see the rim of a crater. We need to test it for impact proxies. Nobody wants to help. Nobody believes me. This was found by the same group in the center of that disk. They went there because of me. They went to the center of that. I believe it was the impact crater that destroyed Atlantis. And they found this thing, and it's got 3 sides to it, covered by this corroded material. I don't know what to think about it, but it looks like at the top of a wall, possibly covered in some ancient alloy, maybe, or a calcium. Or maybe that's freaking silver. We just haven't tested it. Those guys tested it. It's not silver. Okay, I talked about all this already. Don't forget Graham Langdon's Paleolithic find. Amazing. And we already talked about all this. I didn't focus much on what Plato wrote. We talked about the Tamanrasset River. I'll probably be talking about it again. But do you see those 2 items? This is what I'm talking about. We aligned it with, that is like some kind of a garden gnome in the middle of this one. I think that this one represents the Richat, and this one represents that other circle. It's right there on the Piri Reis map. I don't need to get into what Plato wrote about the location of Atlantis. Okay, he mentions it was at the Pillars of Hercules. He says it was across from Cadiz. He says that part went to the Twin, and the capital of Atlantis was south of the mountains. He says all this. The only mountains that Plato and Herodotus knew about were these Atlas Mountains, because all of Greece knew about it. Talking about ancient maps here. This is the Herodotus timeline. There's where Herodotus was alive. He was born in 500 BC, and he almost lived to 400 BC. So we're talking 2,400 years ago. Herodotus wrote his histories on the Persian War, and he said that the tribe that was next to the Atlas Mountains were the Atlantes. Now, Jimmy said that's very interesting, but what you have to understand, and in 2018, it set us all on this quest. Well, the thing about that here is that when you're on the ground, it's kind of hard to see it. That first picture that I show in my first image of the Richat makes it seem like you can stand on the cliff and look at the whole thing. That's just not possible. If you stand on the cliff, you only get about as far out as the first ring. So you just see distant mountains in the distance. You don't see the whole 3 rings. So ancient tribes would have had to have the ability to get up in the air. And the tribes that Herodotus talked about were tribes that were after the cataclysm that took down Atlantis. What I want to say is that the word Atlas and Atlantis are the same word. And I think I proved that in my map here. And it says Nilus ex Atlanti profluens right there. That says the Nile flowing from Atlantis. And you can argue the Nile flowing from the Atlas Mountains, but up here in the same map, it says Atlas Mountains. Mons, it says. In Latin, I believe. This is a map that looked at the myths everybody believed in thousands of years earlier. That's why it shows the Iberian Peninsula still connected to Africa. Hell, maybe Atlantis was this bridge. And this is I call it the Ptolemy map influence. This is the Ptolemy map, but it's basically, okay, the one that I thought that Ptolemy lived when Christ lived, but apparently this is a couple hundred years older. The big shift here is these bodies of water in the middle of the Sahara are what you get instead of those earlier maps that I showed you from Greece. This is basically Greek's oldest world map. And you do have, in some versions, a river going through here. This is the proof that shows that the only mountains that Plato and Herodotus knew about were the Atlas Mountains because of this Hecaitis map, if that's how you pronounce it. Thank you. I am Kairos. Barely crawled out of bed to do this. And it was because a troll triggered me. I'm not going to lie. Thank you for your research. I just saw a video last night talking about melted ceramics. And I thought of your video showing the melted brick walls of the ceramic brick walls, if you call it ceramic at that point. I don't think you can call a red brick a ceramic, but it's definitely geopolymer, right? And you can see them melted in San Francisco. You showed that. Everybody, go over to the I Am Kairos channel and subscribe. He took me to the California Mystery Walls up in Napa. And I also saw another interesting sanctuary video, but I clicked on it. It was talking about a wildlife sanctuary. So it was not related to your topic. Okay, let's get back on track here. This theme of this video today is to show evidence. By the way, Casablanca shows how this used to be called Rio de Oro. But I recently discovered Tamanrasset came out down here. I recently discovered there is another Rio de Oro river that comes out up here. So not sure why the Spanish named it that. Maybe they never saw the Tamanrasset ancient river at all. It seems like these maps drawn in the 1500s shows this. When this map was drawn, did they not know this had already dried up? Or was it still there in the 1500s? You have to ask yourself these questions. And not only do I disagree with this line now, I later on moved it. I think I did that on my other video. The 50-mile long canal, we talked about that already. The item they found in there, they did not. Here it is. Okay. Here it is. Now, what does that look like to you? I see it get from skinny to fat, and then again from skinny to fat. Those are identical segments of something. Call it a wall. Was it metal? Those guys did the research and they found iron inside that. Okay. This is not a limestone bedrock buildup. This has chemical components in it. I'm sorry I don't have that information for you right here. I think I might have it in that other presentation that I still opened up, but I think that it's important to continue on with the theme of this video, which is to show evidence that's obvious there was an ancient civilization in the Sahara Desert. That's what this is all about today. I showed you that. They found it there. Oh, there's those alluvial fans I was talking about, but can you see how that is more of an ellipse? Antonio Zamora, he's the one that wrote about the Carolina Bays, and he taught me that it's called viscous relaxation. What is viscous relaxation? That is when you have a flat crater that's full of sediment. Well, if all the flooding happened, of course it's going to be full. And there's the there's the, okay, so they found this thing, and then they did get the samples of that, and yes, there's iron in there. And those things, in my opinion, those little balls, those those look like impact proxies to me. Spherals of some sort, if you will. I showed you this already. I'm sorry everything's out of order, but it's because I'm trying to show you evidence of things that demonstrate. Now, I showed you this, and I showed you how it was aligned, but we also have other. Now, this one, this is where Atlantis was, according to Plato. This is where Plato pointed. I can get into this, but our friend, what's his name? It's not here now. Michael Hubner, the late Michael Hubner, did a paper pointing to where Plato's each mask represented information from the story. Mountains, oceans, elephants. But this is a very interesting structure in Algeria called the Tin Beyyed crater. But the thing that I don't understand is it's not, look, that's only 6,000 feet down here. 6,000 feet. How big is this? Maybe 5,000 feet. That's only, okay, there's no mound in the middle of this. But the rings, I don't think that that's how craters are. I mean, you can say maybe a natural volcanic crater or something like that. But it's not an impact crater. It doesn't meet the specifications of an impact crater, but that seems to be what they're calling it. And I like the way it's on top of this plateau here. You would think that if an impact crater happened, this whole plateau would have crumbled and not be so strong around it. Moving on, we have these two circular dikes. That's Egypt, that's Libya, and that's Sudan. And isn't it funny that you have this gateway? If you want to talk about alternative pillars of Hercules, well, maybe we don't even want to say Hercules. Everybody says, oh, there's another pillars of Hercules. No. How about there's another set of pillars not attributed to Hercules? So we have this two here, and it does look like a gateway to the Sahara Desert. We have this interesting thing. I had to use topography to show you how it is a circular dike, but it's rolling up this material that's coming from this other feature. A feature that I think is an unnatural structure of some sort. Was it a transport road? Was it being used to move content over here? Did these other weird straight lines over here in this picture attribute to that event? This is called the Giant's Mound, named by me. I call it the Giant's Mound because it's in the middle of the quarry field, 6 mile long straight lines. So you have those 6 mile long straight lines, but then you also have features like this, where you have an outcrop mound that's been sliced up with all these weird straight lines. Randall Carlson shows us this, giving mainstream labels to the things we see. The kimberlite plug up here, the gabronic ring dike. Okay, a gabronic dike means kind of circular, but it can go in different directions. And then my crater, he's calling it a fault, a Mar fault, a Mar system fault. It's a ring dike, he says, caused by volcano. I don't believe it. Now look at this picture of the actual thing, and you see clearly a mound in the middle, the first ring, the second ring, and the third ring. But Randall Carlson, what do you see here? You can barely see the mound. You can barely see the first ring. No, this is the mound, and this is the first ring. Where's the second ring? It's totally not there. This comes from a science paper. Okay, there's the mound. There's the first ring. The first ring is almost a perfect circle. It is a perfect circle in my opinion, except it's missing part of the mountains, which, and this is not a good shot. I got other images of that. I'll go through them. And this is not ancient civilization. Lewis Brown says, I think, okay, Lewis Brown. I don't know what you're talking about, Lewis Brown. You think it's under ice. I am Kairos. Possible plasma ablation evidence. Ablation is a new word for me. Sudden, I guess this is ablation. Suddenly liquefied, structurally altered, and then resolidified. Well, wouldn't that be what electricity does, like in a lightning bolt. I'll show you that later if I can't find it in the next few slides. I think that this was an electric event. I'm not a big fan of the electric universe. I don't really think about that, but I have seen what a Carrington event can do, a Birkeland current can do. There's the kimberlite plug. There's the kimberlite plug. That's what he calls it. This is the Gabronic dike. There's 3 of them, but Randall Carlson only shows 2 of them. Where's the 3rd one? Why did he use this image? Well, it's to perpetuate his claim that the Richat structure wasn't and had nothing to do with Atlantis. But unfortunately, Plato points right there. Richat Structure quarry fields. I've been there. I do think that that is a, there's 2 events. Okay, I don't want to talk too much. Well, under ice. Well, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, I don't. The Lichtenberg structure is hard to deny. I'll show you that. Hold on. I'm trying to get my mouse in the right spot. So you talked about ablation. Plasma ablation. Okay, I got to look that up because I like the way that, oh, that's right here. Sorry. Plasma ablation is a new term for me, and I want to make sure I'm using it correctly. But if you look at what even a lightning bolt can do to a car, it makes rings that are exactly the same. Ablation is basically, it's becoming liquid plasma. It's becoming liquid plasma. It's being altered structurally by vibration and frequency. Let's take a look at some of those. See, I'm forgetting all the words. I haven't done it in so long. Those sand on vibration at each different frequency. You can go with different notes, and you can look and see several that look like the Richat structure when they take sand and vibrate it, so it creates frequency shapes. Okay, Lynchburg structure, very hard to deny. I'll go there since you brought it up. If you look at the Google Earth, that's not it, but we're done with that, right? And by the way, I found a new canal. I found a new canal up here, right here. 70 kilometers long at least. Kairos, I don't know if you saw that. Check out my last couple of videos. But what you're talking about is here. That totally looks like a Lichtenberg structure, doesn't it? Now, one thing I have shown is that you can see the ridges here. Those are man-made. I didn't even get there yet. I should have gotten there first. You see this ancient agricultural megalithic damming, and they're going across this river that was probably created by a Lichtenberg event. And I believe it has something to do with the main event right in the middle. Yeah, understanding of nature, because we're being misled by mainstream geology that's trying to give excuses for stuff that don't make sense. Trying to give excuses. The Eye of Africa. Oh, you thought what was the Eye of Africa? Oh, that other thing? Well, I don't know. I'm kind of lost myself. I don't know what we're going through the theme frequency. Yeah, and I'm going to show you that, but I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. I might have to go in that other presentation. I believe that we can heal ourselves using frequencies. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you. That's chanting, whatever you want to call it. I do that all the time. Why? Because I want to help clear my throat. And you can't always clear your throat with a hard cough. So you got to, okay, I get asthma. And sometimes the asthma keeps me from being able to clear my throat. So instead of sitting there and hacking, I'll just create a vibration in my throat that excites the phlegm, gets that phlegm moving. The energy signature of electrical discharge. Yeah, I think we're looking at it. Yeah, I do agree. I don't think that was man-made. It created the river systems. Yes, I believe that. Although you're not going to get a lot of, I don't know. Yeah, unfortunately, we need frequencies to heal ourselves. Agreed. All right, let's go back to things that prove that the Richat structure, I'm sorry, not just the Richat structure, that there were evidence of ancient megalithic technology all over the Sahara Desert, megalithic terraforming, in the form of terraforming, in my opinion, like these straight lines. These straight lines. I've been looking at this straight line for a long time. It connects this river with this river system. That's a very straight river system, if you ask me. I think it was part of a canal inlet. I think something was going on here that made him have a little, could be wrong, but it connects over here and goes out the other side. I mean, oh, wait, sorry, not exactly. I made a mistake. It possibly did, though. It looks, you can see a line, and then here it goes out the other side of the Adrar Plateau. This ancient shoreline that you see here, that's the Adrar Plateau, and then you have a lake bed, a 200-mile shoreline, and you don't know how far that lake's going. Jeanette, thank you for joining in the frequency. You were sharing with me. I was sharing with you those long frequency videos where you can choose your frequency and play the video and go to sleep. Yes, I'm familiar with the flash frozen trees and woolly mammoths, and I do believe that that was the cataclysm that ended the ice age. And there's where I do agree with Randall Carlson on stuff. We're talking about the flood in the Bible. We're talking about the flood myth talked about by the Sumerians. And if you haven't read the Epic of Gilgamesh, you should know it wasn't Gilgamesh that encountered the flood. I have the name of basically the Noah equivalent in Sumerian. It starts with a U. I can't say it. The flood myth. We're going to heal ourselves with frequency. We're going to heal ourselves with frequency. Thank you, Lewis. Sounds like we're on the same track. Yeah, canals. There's a canal out here. Wait, let me back out a little bit. If you haven't seen my LiDAR scan, you can see the agriculture that was going here. And in real life, you can see the agriculture that was going on here just by zooming in. Now, is this ancient and megalithic? I can't say. He made you misprinted. You typed it wrong and you corrected yourself by saying Noah. You're like the original nothing story. It's kind of interesting. Oh, what's that with the Z's? That may be one of them. I have a screenshot. I'm not sure if it's convenient or not. I'm not going to try to find it. There were 3 different names. Oh, I know. It's in one of my videos. Okay, let me find my video. And then I'll show you right now. I'm going to grab it. Let me grab it. Grab it like you want it. Grab it. Let me just go to my videos. I do this in front of you so you can find it yourself. Okay, so this is my side, so you can't find it this way, but I'm going to find it this way. I did an upload. That upload is, where is it? Is it alive? Maybe it was alive after all. I'm just going to double check. Let's go to lives. Oh, there's a show feature now. Okay, what was I looking for again? I was going to show you the name of the flood myth. Okay, so that's it. We're looking for the flood myth video. I think it was an upload. Let's go here and look at it. There it is right here. So this was it. And if you go to this video, it says one flood everywhere. And, you know, I might be backing off the AI thumb. Okay, let me, sorry, I should be using the other browser. Okay, let's stop there. And let's turn that off and let's go through. And I actually let AI create this. So this is more of a presentation from, what's the name of that one? LM, what is it called? It's right here. It's called notebooklm.google.com. Notebooklm.google.com is awesome. It's very good for brainstorming. And it's talking about the flood myth. And these are the names here. Is your ZU is SUDRA. What did you say? Let me go back to what you said. You said, so close, Lewis Brown. So close, right? So there you go. And that was the oldest one. That was the oldest one. And where was it found? It was found in the Sumerian, not Akkadian, right? Eridu Genesis. Now, I might be wrong, but later ones came through from the tradition. Epic of Gilgamesh, the name was Utnapishtim. He survived the flood. He was the one that was granted immortality because he followed God's command, created a boat, and saved the animals. Even before that, the Zeustra turned into Atrahasis in the Atrahasis epic. Now, I haven't read that, so I can't comment on it. And I haven't read the Eridu Genesis. And have I really read the Epic of Gilgamesh? No, I have not. But, I have, but I haven't. Because what I did was I used ChatGPT to help me understand it. So, because when you read stuff like that, it goes off. Like if you're going to go read Odyssey by Homer, who really didn't write anything because he was blind, or if you're going to read his prior epic called, the name is called the Iliad, which is the Iliad is the first book, and the Odyssey is the second book. Okay, what's this? How old was Noah? I don't know. In the Bible, he lived to be about 800 years. I can't remember, but it's funny that he was given immortality in the Sumerian, and he lived hundreds of years in the Bible. The vast springs of the earth were said to have burst open, part of the biblical flood narrative so often overlooked regarding the source of the floodwaters. Yeah, they want to say that the floodwaters came from the oceans because the oceans, they went higher, and because the ice, and the science says because the ice sheets melted. All right, how did Africa flood? What ice sheet went past and over the Mediterranean Sea and then flooded the Sahara Desert? In my opinion, it was a different story. I think that ancient Atlantis had harvested so much water in lakes and flood control and other things. When the cataclysm hit, all those reservoirs just gave way. Now, as far as the vast springs of the earth were said to have burst open in the Bible, I have to reread that so I understand it better. That's for sure. Enki told him about the flood. Enki told Noah about the flood coming. Is that okay? So Enki went up in the spaceship and then came back and told Noah about the flood. Is that what you're saying? I'm not really sure. You said he was trapped on Earth in 7 different places at the same time. Who is he? Who is he? You must be talking about the Eridu Genesis. I haven't read it. I don't know. It says here the reason for the flood was human noise. The next epic, overpopulation and noise. Epic of Gilgamesh, divine council decision by the gods. Enki was trapped on the earth in 7 Nil. Okay. Look, I'm going to take all this with a grain of salt because you're kind of going out of my scope. The point of this video was to create a collection of things that we can see from Google Earth that proves that some type of ancient megalithic advanced technology existed. I feel like I'm navigating away from that. Let's get back to this slideshow because I highlight things in my slideshow that are easy to see. I do believe that's one of the quarry fields. It's found here. I do think that these cuts were also created by the Atlanteans. I don't think that these are natural. You might say that's tectonic. How does a Gabrionic dike shift like that? I think those were exiting canals going into the larger sea. So Enlil, not Enki. I got to go back and look at that all up. That's why I'm putting it in the video. That's why I'm sharing your comments, so I don't have to go back and try to find the live stream chat, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, we got a Genesis 7:11 reference. Where's my Bible? I got to get my magnifying glass for that. Genesis 7:11. Who doesn't love 7:11? And I'm not talking about the ones in the United States. Wow, this Bible's small. I got to turn on the light. Hold on. Okay, where's Genesis? No, I'm not that stupid. Okay, Genesis 18. Let's go back. Wow, it's so small. I'm trying to refer to the Bible for more stuff because I'm learning about so much stuff that I didn't know was in the Bible. 7:11. All right, here we go. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened. Okay, I'm going to comment. So we find out that Noah was 600 years old when the flood happened. So that kind of does conflict with the whole idea that Noah. Okay, so in the Sumerian thing that I just showed you, where's that picture? Is it here? No, that's not there. It's in that video that I just looked at. See, these other guys, let me just pull it up so I can talk about, did I close it? Don't tell me I closed it. It's got to be right here. There it is. Okay, so these other guys in the Sumerian history, let me just change that to that. They, especially this guy, Utnapishtim, received immortality because he successfully followed instructions and saved all the animals during the flood. Do I believe that it flooded and he saved every animal and we got 2 lions and 2 giraffes? No, this is a modern day interpretation that we were shown in cartoons growing up. So it's like we're not arguing with the actual Bible. We're arguing with these interpretations. The whole Catholic Church doesn't even quote Bible. They just do all these activities. So if you're a Catholic, you're not even looking at the Bible. You're just listening to your father preach, right? So in other Christian churches, they do hold up the Bible and read it. So it depends on the interpretation. But we're modern day humans interpreting 2,000-year-old text. Utnapishtim was given immortality, not Gilgamesh. I do want to mention that I just noticed Tyrone. I forgot. Oh my God, it's been so long. He just did so if you know my friend Tyrone on Rebirth of the Word, he just did an Epic of Gilgamesh video. If I'm correct, it says the end times will happen again. I'm going to read more from the Bible right now. Hold on. It's happening now in Iran. Yeah, obviously. And basically what I think is happening in Iran is a slow, basically not only are they controlling resources, they're also slowly deflecting our history. All right, let's go back to the Bible. Let me read this Bible. I want to get into this Bible quote because I'm going to go back one. Before the flood, chapter 7, the Lord said to Noah, "Go into the ark and all your household, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals." 7 pairs of all clean animals, the male and his mate. See, there's no elephants, there's no giraffes. And the birds. And I'm going to 4. For in 7 days I will send rain. I'm just going to read the first line. And in 5, and Noah did all that. So there's no you have to see the interpretation of 7 pairs of all clean animals. What's a clean animal? Are you saying that the pig, I mean, is that an unclean animal according to Jewish faith? This is from the first, I don't know. This is from the Old Testament. So I'm reading again. All right. Well, anyways, of clean animals and of animals that are not clean and of birds and of everything that creeps on the ground. This is not even a full sentence. Where's the subject? Where's the verb? So what is that? That's been altered. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe go back to the original Hebrew to read that in the Torah. See what it says there. All right. Oh, here he's got the all right. Localized animals, in my opinion, that's right. Clean animals, something you can harvest, something you can eat. Cows and shit. That's clean. Okay, that even made less sense. Something you can harvest and eat. So an unclean animal is something like a dog, right? Okay, well, you can eat a dog, but we don't. Oh, there you are. Hey, man, I was just talking about you. Rebirth of the Word. We were just talking about Gilgamesh and the fact that you just did a video on the topic. Oh, wait a minute. Slow down. So, Lewis, you're saying that Hebrew is not the original text of the Torah? How are you doing, Rebirth? Yeah, I'm sorry that I just went live. I wanted to get... Hey, by the way, can you comment on that, Rebirth? I mean, is that true? I kind of thought that it was a combination of Hebrew and Greek. So, yeah, I was chilling, but then suddenly this troll got me triggered. I got triggered by a troll, and so that's why we're doing a video themed all the different things I can show you in the Sahara. We're going to have to get back to the main theme here. It's open house for comments, and yeah, this was I pulled this up because I wanted to show these names here. Utnapishtim and Lewis Brown, who he called out this name. So I got to definitely connect with Lewis Brown because he's a knowledgeable guy. Lewis Brown, let's do some Twitter conversations or something. I got to get back to the original. I've been talking for an hour and a half, and that's going on a little longer than I had planned, and I'm not even finished yet. Google Earth, Cal Topo, the Mauritanian map. Sorry, I meant to say the Satellites Pro map. We were going through this. I was showing stuff demonstrating that there's evidence all over the Sahara Desert. Let's look at my Was This Atlantis page. If you go to facebook.com/Was This Atlantis, I'm not going to look at that. Every time I click on that, it takes me and I can't find any message because I'm logged in as my page admin profile as opposed to the personal profile. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Talking too much. Let's close this. Let's close a bunch of stuff here. That was very interesting. But yes, it's true. If you're still here, who connects my dots? I don't know either. I don't know either. Matt, I've met him. But I don't remember him aligning with me. Wasn't he into the stars? Matt, like, Qua? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I have him as a Facebook friend, and I think we were at Cosmic Summit together. I don't know. Hey there, Rebirth. Are you still there? Do you remember meeting Matt at Cosmic Summit? It may have been a different show. And yeah, I might even have the wrong guy because I kind of got a little confused. So if I'm not mistaken, he was talking about the ancient Yuga, the 24,000 year cycle, which I go by the Randall Carlson numbers, which is 2,500,920 is the number of years in the Facebook messaged laser ablation piece. We'll open that up right now. Oh, there you are, Rebirth. Thank you. Yeah, we knew it was a mix. Yes, and Aramaic as well. I don't know what Septuagint is. The Hebrew, the original is Hebrew, widely accepted view. Let's not forget that the book, also called the Old Testament, comes from oral tradition in general. Am I wrong? Let's get this out of here. I was going to close this. I thought you added me to that. Not you, somebody else. All right. We won't close that. These are the attributes. You can go down here and visit every single, what I think is a piece of a canal that I found. Alexander the Great, he went all over. What did you say? You remember who? Oh, yeah, he was there then. We're talking about Matt Lacroix. How do you pronounce that? Lacroix? And I don't know. I thought he was talking about the recession, the precession of the equinox, or the ancient cycles of the gold era, the silver, this term bronze. Sorry, I'm trying to show these. Okay, unfortunately, you said maybe somebody from. I don't know what that's referring to, even though it sounds like I said it. Look at these canals. Let's keep on going. You asked, was Alexander the Great in that area? I have to be honest. I don't know the conquest of Alexander the Great. What were the main conquests of Alexander the Great? And give me a total list of all his conquests. Put the main ones at the top, but give me a complete list. Okay, we'll see about that. All right, and now while we're waiting for that, let's zoom in on this big long canal that I found. Okay, see, these things are there. They exist. Look at that. And you can't call that a river. A river doesn't go up from the bottom of the shoreline up on top of a what do you call it? A plateau, and then go back down again. And there I see that line going back down. Even though it kind of disappears here. And I did put this line next to it so I wouldn't have to, maybe it even integrated with this. But look what else you see here. And I'm seeing a whole bunch now. As you kind of zoom right here, you start to see other stuff that looks like they're from straight lines. Look at that angle there. Look at this straight line. But I didn't mark that. What else did I? You see a lot of straight lines when you zoom in here. A lot of this stuff looks like it was part of some type of plateau, like here, terracing. And then when you zoom in closer, you see straight lines. Maybe it is a quarry. Maybe that's natural. I'm at the point where I don't believe anything looked like it was natural here. You've got these straight inlets over here. Yeah, I started this over an hour and a half ago. This is the list that ChatGPT just gave me. Judea. So I know where all these places are. None of them are Africa. Let's just maximize. Oh my gosh. I got a fly that's really bugging. Let me just try to maximize this. Come on now. What's going on here now? Oh, what a hassle. Thank you. Oh, here we go. This is a nice map. The Empire of Alexander the Great. So as you can see, he didn't really go over to that area. Done. Answered. Let's look at this one. Here's another one. Didn't really, these are showing his routes. So he didn't even go there. And if we look at the list, a complete list, let's see if we can find anything. Lydia, Caria, these are all like in Greek. Let's just look at this first. India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Judea is basically, we've got a little bit of stuff, because I thought maybe he went over to, oops, there's protractor. Let's look at the map again. I thought maybe he went this far. I wasn't sure. Carthage. I thought that Alexander the Great made it to Carthage, but I was wrong. I was thinking maybe that's part of it. I don't see any place here. It looks like it's all related to what's shown in those maps. West, Greece. South, Egypt. East, India. North, Central Asia, including Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. There's a nice answer for you. I'm going to close that. I'm almost done here, guys. There's a bunch of other stuff that I could show you, but it's almost time for me to back out and not even get in so close. Let's look at this arc. Look at this arc I found. Look at that line. Man, problem is I turned on a light, and the light was showing me to the flies. Okay, look at that water that exists right here by this ancient arc. The arc, where can you say that it goes? To about here. And look at this thing here. To me, that looks like a water wall that was put down. Anyways, I won't hypothesize too much, but I do believe that's a very clear arc. And this is the main part that we have to evaluate right there. I think they were making these arcs everywhere. They have the arc that's up here, the one that's here. That arc from here to here is 10 miles. There's a canal segment right there. It's 4 kilometers. And then going back down here, let's look at some more of the canals that I've found. That's kind of crazy, but it's got that big, huge area in there. I started to think, oh yeah, and you had the 2 exits. That's also what kind of caught me off guard. And yeah, maybe it was connected to this water system, not my line. I put it next to it. Here's more water here. When you see water that exists in modern day, it makes perfect sense to think that it may have been connected to some ancient water system. We've got these straight through canals here. They cut right through it. You don't just go through a mound. That's not how water works. Water gathers on top of a mound and then starts to pool and create rivers. It doesn't just cut straight through. And you have parallel ones here. That one kind of a stretch, but I found this piece over here, and I thought it looks like it could have gone straight through, especially since it's got these connectors over here. I've talked about this stuff. I'm going to back out. I'm just going to let you know. Look at that. This long one, you can see it cuts here, and it cuts over here. Again, right next to it, this cuts all the way through. How does a river do that? I don't think it does. When you see lines like this, I call these fins. I think that that is the result of an ancient quarrying event, and then maybe even 1 million years of erosion turning them into these fins. Because I just don't believe parallel jointing like that really can happen. So yeah, Atlantis went back a long time. I'm showing you how these canals connected to this blue river system, ancient modern day. There's even part of that. This goes down to Senegal River right there. In the ancient maps, you can see this point, and you see the Senegal River above it, and you see the Gambia River below it. This country is called the Gambia because of the river that it encompasses. That country is very thin. It's as skinny as a river. Why it exists, I don't know. Down here, we see some interesting stuff. Just some lines that go straight. That's all. All right. Let me take a look at all these comments. I always stop too early. You want more? You want me to keep going? I've been live for 1 hour and 41 minutes. Thank you for agreeing with me. 30,000 years, something happened, and we were left over with survivors. Okay, peaked. Okay, interesting. And you agree that the Younger Dryas timeline is where we are going with the end of the Atlantis and the flood myth. I mean, I almost don't even believe any of these numbers. Should I go back to the Bible? No, I think we're over. Adam's calendar. All right, we have a request. You want me to show you Adam's calendar? I just happen to know how to get there. But the question is, do you? Where's Adam's calendar? Well, it's in South Africa. I've had a discussion with Michael Tellinger on the phone. We talked together. He really likes my research. Okay, so how do you get to Adam's calendar? Well, you see the line that encompasses the east side of Eswatini and the line that encompasses the top, a straight line. They meet right about here. That's where Adam's calendar is. It looks like New Jersey. It used to look like New Jersey. Now you zoom in and you got what kind of looks like a. There's been some changes. They're changing it, and you can go to the photos and look at Adam's calendar, which is right there. And this picture is actually from across the thing. There's Adam's calendar right there. Okay, so that's part of Adam's calendar, and the photo was taken from that cliff over there. Not this one, obviously, but the photo that I'm going to show you soon. That's Adam's calendar. You got no pictures of Michael Tellinger in these images, you know. That's not Adam's calendar. That has nothing to do with it. But that is one of the stone circles that show us, chump. Thank you. Are you saying that because I called a couple of people we both know blowhards? Did you see that? You're hurting my feelings. I'm going to do more stand-up comedy, man. That's the only way I can feel better. These stone circles are also very important, but that is not Adam's calendar. Okay, are we done? No. What happened? Let's go. I don't know about the interpretations by Michael Tellinger of Adam's calendar. I like to look at it for what it is, and I do believe that it is a ancient, like Stonehenge, a henge, even though it doesn't have a circle. And I think some of the stones have the same significance he mentioned. We're seeing a lot of the same stuff. I don't understand this. All right. So if you don't know where Adam's calendar is, I'll just double down and show you again. It's this plateau. You have this. You can't see it because the picture's in the way, but that's exactly where it is right there. You can kind of see it right there. See? That's actually, I think, a newer picture. That's Adam's calendar right there. Well, cow pens or hunting blinds. Look, it's a circle. I think it was a henge. It's just been changed and rained on for a million years. There's all sorts of stuff. And since you can find that, you go nearby and you can find stone circles everywhere. It's not hard. And don't tell me that, see, I don't want to get into South Africa because, in my opinion, it's even more evidence. Let me get rid of these pictures. I'm not talking more than 2 hours. We got another 15 minutes, Rebirth. Thank you, though. When you say cow pens or hunting blinds. Oh, yeah, and another thing that I didn't show in this video was the Kalahari canals. So if you didn't know about them, there's these lines down here. It's over 250,000 square miles of straight lines around this inland delta. How many inland deltas do you know about? This is a river delta that's in the middle of the continent. Uh-oh, we might have to go to France. There's a long what in France? A long wall, canal? Think about all the canals in Europe. They didn't just pop up in the 1700s. They were there for thousands of years. But cows have always symbolized deities in some form. Okay, so in my opinion about the cow, and the fact was that people were idolizing the cow, going against what Noah said, right? Noah threw the 10 commandments. He got, I'm trying to show these before I navigate away. There was some flood event here that took away all the parallel lines, but you can still see them over here. So we don't even know what was going on. So Noah got mad because they were idolizing the cow. And there was also idolization of the I don't want to say goat. I kind of want to say more like the ram. Well, both of those are from our astrological signs, right? So people were idolizing the cow. That's, I mean, let's just be honest. The Sphinx, in my opinion, was never a dog. It's on the ecliptic. It was looking right at the, there you go. You mentioned the constellation. See how ADHD I got? Scroll up and listen to the left, please. What is scroll up? What? Okay, he says, what the fuck? Is that a right angle? Scroll up and to the left, please. Where? From where? Oh, you want this area that I'm at right now? Sure. Oh, scroll up a little to the left, please. That's crazy. Yeah, this is called, look them up yourself. I'll show you how to get there. This is called that is the panhandle of Namibia, right? Is that Namibia? Yeah, that's Namibia. And it has a panhandle. Zambia, Angola, Botswana, they all have the Kalahari canals in this area. And as you go towards this delta, you can see the flood event that washed away this escarpment. However, you still see some here a little bit. And going up, you still see so much more. And they disappear here, but you go up here, you can see them by the river. And up here, more. They're all over this area. There's some place I created a map, but the main part is right here. So this is probably where you need to go and take a look and see those Kalahari canals. Let's get back to what Rebirth was saying about the cows. The ram was an age. Okay. I have it in my full Richat presentation right here. Let me find it. The procession of the equinox. I got to find it. It's down here somewhere. I got like 400 slides in this thing. So I started a new one. Where's my procession slide? It's not here? Don't say that. It's got to be in here somewhere. Well, I think it's closer to the beginning. So let's go to the very end. See, these are the things that I found in South Africa right here. These are the things that I found in South Africa. Straight lines, ridges, walls. That's not South Africa. That's the Grand Canyon, okay? That's the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. Now, we're trying to get to that picture. It's way up here. That's Utah, near Arches. I believe Arches were part of... Let's just scroll through so everybody can see it. Maybe it isn't in this slide anymore. I hope it's there. You know where it is? For sure, it's in my Twitter. I had to recreate some pictures that were lost. I think it's right about here. This is an old presentation, and I thought it was right about here, but I guess not. So the other thing you can do to find the possession chart that I have, and I do want to put that back in my presentation. I don't know why it's missing, is to go to the Twitter. And by the way, Rebirth of the Word, thank you so much for sharing some stuff earlier. This is what got me started. That's what got me started. See, I want to watch that. I want to see what's going to happen to this lady and the dog. She dumped the... See, I love stuff like that. Time to feed the dog, bitch. She's all mad. Okay, go to my profile on Twitter. It's Stig him up and scroll down and you'll find... Well, look at these mounds. Why are these mounds in Idaho? Now I know there's mounds in Arkansas and Mount Olympia, Washington, and Colorado. I don't know. I haven't been there yet. I just heard about this. Let's just go down to my procession slide. There it is. Thank you. Okay. Now, the procession of the equinox is the ages. And I believe that Leo was the Sphinx because it was memorializing the equinox during the age of Leo from 9,000 BC to, I'm sorry, from 6,200 BC to 9,000. That means 10,000 is right in the middle. No, I'm wrong. Somebody told me 10,000. Okay, so I did this research using Stellarium, looking at every age as it started and as it, there's empty space in this chart. I'm not going to do that again. I was going to recreate this. Send you something. You want me to send you? It's my Twitter. Go down my Twitter real quick. I don't understand. Hard raking the garden. Oh, we're talking about parallel lines. Take a screenshot real quick. I'm going to talk about this. Aries was an age. Taurus was an age. Taurus was the bull. That's the cow. Okay. Aries was a very short age. It only lasted how long? 1,000 years from 1 BC. Wait, that's wrong. What am I doing? Oh, until, okay. See, I still got I'm still confused. That's why 10,000 does work for Leo. Because no, it doesn't. It doesn't work. The start date that I found for Leo was about 9,000 BC. It's kind of weird that it's exactly 9,000. That's true. Was I so close to being 9,000? That's what I wrote down. I'm not going to write 9,000 if it wasn't 9,000. It started in 9,000. It ended 62. That's 8. Oh, okay. All right. Here's why I say 10,000. Because it's not 10,000 BC. It's 10,000 years ago. So, and also if you believe, and even Robert Schoch said that it could have been the previous cycle. So if it wasn't this cycle that the Sphinx was built, it could have been the previous cycle, and that was 36.9 BC. You got to add 2,000 years, and that's why it works, because 9,000 BC is 11,000 years ago. 6,200 BC is 8,000 years ago. Then we get to Cancer. Cancer only lasted 720 years. Leo total years is 2,700. That's why I think that Randall Carlson is being disingenuous when he... so you said, you're talking about a cataclysm, right? I'm just talking about the precession of the equinox, and these ancient researchers like the Yuga, like Matt Lacroix, like Walt Crenadin, who puts on CPAK. He's putting it on in Laguna. These are the people who are looking at the more Indian, ancient Lemuria type of cycles, and they don't come up with 26,000 years like Randall Carlson does. They come up with 24,000 years. So the point is that these are the numbers that I got from Stellarium about 8 years ago. Now, Pisces was the birth of Christ. It started with the birth of Christ. That's why you get the little fish symbol. And it's still today. You can see that I updated it 3 years ago, but Pisces is not over. Pisces is not done. We are not in the age of Aquarius. Pisces is over, according to my Stellarium findings, 2952. And it includes some empty space degrees, meaning that number is when Aquarius starts again in divide minus 2664 to 2022. Let's actually, you know better. Okay, let's just put this in the, let me just put this in here. 2952 minus 2026. Aquarius starts in 926 years. Okay? 926 years. And if you understand how to measure it, it's when the sun rises in that age for the first time on the equinox, which is when you have the equal number of seconds in night and day. And you have 2 equinoxes every year, right? So Gemini was also an age after Cancer. Gemini actually lasted 610. Let's just look at the year. Gemini was during 5544 BC. Taurus, very important because it was right when the Hebrew Bible was being put together. So the people that wrote the Hebrew, or let's call it the Old Testament, because I don't know whether it's in Greek or Hebrew or all these other languages, Aramaic, the language of Christ. But this number encompasses that Bible number. What we can do is we can go ask, what was the number that the Bible thumpers came up with for when Noah happened? It was about here. So when Moses came down and saw that cow being idolized, he got angry and threw down those. Well, okay, so I was looking for it and I didn't find it. From what I saw in the, what calendar is it using? What do you mean, what calendar? It's our calendar. This is our years. Look, 2026 is the year right now. I can update it, but Pisces goes from what Stellarium shows as the first year of our calendar, our modern day. Gregorian, I guess you can say that. Are we using the Gregorian calendar now? And then you thought that I thought I was verbal until after the Bible was constructed. I wouldn't say it was verbal until the Bible. I mean, every standardized Bible is different. We've got our King James Bible that was standardized in, what was the year? I forgot. Let's just ask real quick. Let me just put it in here. I had a chart made of all the different Bibles throughout language. It's a language thing. The King James Bible is the first standardized English Bible. What year were each standardized Bibles in each language created? Okay, wait. I don't want to use that. I want to use this. What year was the King James Bible written? And that was the English standardization. Give me the Greek standardization, the oldest one you know, and any other relevant standardized Bibles you can think of. Don't forget, ChatGPT can make mistakes. The Julian calendar, Gregorian, which one are we using now? I'm using our modern day calendar on Stellarium. So I'm going back, and it's by the number of years back. And by the way, when people imply the Greeks didn't know what a year was, that's total BS. That's why they come up with a stupid Santorini theory. Sorry, I didn't hit send. Okay. So there we go. The Septuagint, right. Okay, King James was 1611. Now, there were other versions of this Bible in English, but because the translations and they were probably being used differently. We got another one here. The oldest Greek standardization is the Septuagint. Now, where's Hebrew? Why is Hebrew not on here? Is there no Hebrew? So the Hebrew, let's just ask, what about Hebrew? Why is Hebrew not on here? What's the oldest version of the Bible language? I understand it's Aramaic, but was that in the Old Testament? Because I thought that the Aramaic was in the New Testament only. See how I roll? Okay. Hebrew with some Aramaic. Okay. That's 1200 to 200 BC. Then the Greek. Now, I don't know because I'm not going to argue with people when they claim it. I've seen there's a channel called Useful Charts that goes over all the original books of the Bible. Old Testament, the book of Daniel, the book of Ezra, only a few. They should show percentages. The Old Testament is, there we go, 95 to 98% Hebrew. Now, the thing that we have to understand is people changed the Bible on purpose to accommodate their wants and needs, right? To control people. So when we say there was Greek in the Old Testament, it could have been inserted later. In the Septuagint, that's where the Greek was probably inserted, you know? So we got to get back to the original version, the sea scrolls. Let's ask that last question. What language were the sea scrolls written in? The Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek. Okay, but only 1 to 2%. Interesting. All right, and then again, we have to say what year were the sea scrolls buried? And I don't know yet. And I'm going to not know because I'm closing this window. Did I successfully talk about everything? Now's your chance to put in a last-minute comment. I'm over all this. I got to get back to work. I've been working. I got to go do a job. These are ridges and oh, look at how those are so parallel. You know, and I never noticed that. Ridges come from plateaus, and these are the ones at Pie Town, and I've been there. All right, guys. Last minute for a comment. I'm going to close windows. I opened this, but I never used it. Thank you, I Am Kairos, for making it to the very end. I got some personal business I'm taking care of. I can't get out of town or can't go anywhere. I'm looking for a solution. And at the end of that, it might take months. I don't know when I can leave and go on vacation again. But at the same time, that's what we got to. I got to do what I got to do. I'll tell you offline. I think this whole area right here, I Am Kairos. Yeah, look at this. I Am Kairos lives right here. And he took me to the Mystery Walls of California in Napa. Is that Diablo Mountain right where my hand is? I Am Kairos. Is that Diablo? Thank you, Rebirth of the Word. I Am Kairos. I'm going to put the hand back. Thank you, Rebirth of the World. Thank you for staying to the end. Yeah, I'm going to focus most on Atlantis. I was looking at this map right here, and I think, where's Diablo? What's this mountain right here? Yeah, people who say Atlantis is in Antarctica. Okay, well, I can talk about that very easily. It certainly isn't Plato's Atlantis. Plato was the end of Atlantis. I saw a very interesting. Was it your? Maybe it was your video. I've been in a haze, man. I can barely even think. Some people say Atlantis is in our. First of all, where is Atlantis now? It's. If you're talking about Plato's Atlantis, he talked about the Atlas Mountains. If you're talking about the ancient megalithic civilization that terraformed the entire planet, I would say that Atlantis was a global civilization. Antarctica is part of the globe. Okay, let me show you the hand right here. Diablo Mountain with its amazing evidence. Is it the highest point, which is right about here in my interpretation? What? Get rid of that. Let's go with searching for it. Diablo Mountain. The next time I go visit I Am Kairos, we are going to visit this mountain. He's going to show me some very interesting stuff. So there it is. Now let's zoom out and see if I was right. That's Diablo Mountain. You don't even see the roads on this map. You got to use different things. Oh, no. I was a little bit off. I was way off. So Diablo Mountain is here. It's not as high as that other mountain that's just down here. I wonder what this area is called. And I say this whole area, I don't know what's going on with this. This is just weird, right? Why is that there in the middle of the Atlantic? I'm sorry, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Total artifact. You could probably match it with something. I don't know what's going on there. You can clearly see Monterey Bay right there. You can clearly see San Francisco Bay right here and San Francisco right here. What's going on here? Where's San Francisco? What's going on here? Oh, well, is it messed up? Let me just pull in the map. I don't want to do it. This just doesn't make sense, right? We add in... okay, that's not what I want. We need... I don't even know how to do it. Add base layer. Add map sheets. Shaded relief. Add base layer. We need this right here. Live imagery. Let's try that. What? Oh, I got to pay now? I don't know how to do it. Let's map builder overlay. Let's try that. That'll help. Yeah, San Francisco's there. All right. So what is all this stuff out here? It certainly isn't anything we know. I don't know what that is. Anyways, my main point here was when we look at it about here, let's get rid of that because we just see so much weird stuff at this big, huge scale. For example, Sutter's Butte, right in the middle of that thing. And also this perfect line right here separating Central Valley from this other desert. Here's the desert I live in. And you see, that's what they call the San Andreas Fault, right? But you don't really see it. It's two plates pushing together. But you have this triangle here, or maybe you can call it the X. Something here is just weird. This is north-south. So when we look at Baja California, you can see the Gulf of California here, and we do have a lake right there. It's called the Salton Sea. Where is it? Oh, it's okay. Maybe it's right about here. And the actual water starts way down here. It's very hard to find it. So it's a very low valley. And so when we look at this whole area and we wonder what created that triangle, and we also know that the Central Valley was part of a great, great lake. All of this was water at one point in time. And literally, like, it was water until 200 years ago. Oops, let me get that out of there. Napa also has its own Atlas Peak. The undersea shelf at the Farallone Islands, huh? And you're talking about that thing out there. It just doesn't seem... Okay, all right. Wow, but it's not scanned any farther than that. So these are undersea shelves. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, you're right. It does look like a scanning of underwater. All right. We're getting out of here soon, folks. Thousands of miles on mystery walls. What, under the water? There's miles. Is that under the water or is that? Yeah, so that's underwater. I get it now. I get it. There's definitely thousands of miles where you showed me. That's Monterey. There's that big mountain that I was looking at, and you showed me this is Diablo Mountain. And yeah, let's go over there real quick. I wanna. Let's just go Diablo Mountain, and then I'm getting out of here soon, guys. But I do love to talk to my friends. I've met you in person. I've met Rebirth of the World Tyrone in person. Lewis Brown, we got to meet in person. That's not it. Okay, those are different Diablo Mountains. Oh, it said Arizona. I meant to say California. I should have looked carefully. I made a mistake. Let me try that again. Diablo Mountains in Walnut Creek, California. Oh, let's try add the N, and then let's put California, I guess. All right, now we're going to go in there. We're going to see some walls. Look, you can already see them. What is that? Oh, that's just a road. When you go into this area, you start to see all sorts of ancient, but not super ancient, because it's something you or I could have built. If we go over to the sanitarium that he took me to, I can find them, but I haven't checked out Mount Diablo yet. Let's find the peak. There it is, right there. They always take you to not the peak. Why? Why would they do it? Mount Diablo. Yeah, I can't wait to check this out. I hope I can crash in that trailer of yours you had in your front yard. That was really cool. And I didn't sleep in there last time, but I want to spend a couple days up there. All right, guys. Oh, here we go. What did he say? On land, the walls follow the El Camino Real. All right. Well, that makes real good sense. Mount Diablo. Jeanette, you're still here. We're almost out. I've been talking for 2 hours, 10 minutes. Jeanette, met in person, not only met you in person. And by the way, I was just kidding when I got mad about you saying I was a handyman. I didn't care about that. We went to Contact in the Desert, and Jeanette and I met a bunch of new people together. Jeanette, you got to meet. Oh, yeah. And Jeanette, you were the one. Okay, so when you called me, Trekker Wills, I am Kairos, you called me. We were sitting in Jeanette's house. I got to get up there, and, maybe I can find a short-term solution so I can come up there and see you soon. I don't want to get into the reasons why I can't come up there. Jeanette, lots of new stuff's going on. I'll tell you off the air. Wait, you said follow the El Camino. Oh, call it Mount Diablo instead of Diablo Mountain. Okay, I see. Mount Diablo. Okay, on land, the walls follow the El Camino. Where is El Camino around here? So El Camino was going north-south. So obviously the El Camino was pretty much, in my opinion, a alleyway, Where's the El Camino over here, though? Can I look it up? I don't know if I can do it this. Let me find it a different way. El Camino routes. El Camino. Where's the El Camino routes? Getting a little mixed up. Okay, we don't need Camino de Santiago. We want the routes. See what they do? So we got to go to images. Brave is actually not so good at these types of searches. Why are we not looking at California right now? Oh, because I didn't put in Real. That's why. Okay, here we go. Real. There we go. Let's try that. Now we're going to find it. So this shows Florida. So this is Camino Real. We're talking about the one that goes north-south in California. Why don't I go to California? We don't need New Mexico. See, that's a different route. This El Camino Real route demarcated the different places. It's just so small. I wish we had a better map. And this isn't north-south. Why would you do that to me? See, it pretty much goes along the ocean. Can I make this bigger? Maybe I should go to, and I grew up seeing these things all over. I didn't realize the significance. Let's try this one. See, this one's showing the Camino Real but it's so small. Can we find anything big? Okay, there we go. So right about here, San Juan Bautista, I went there. That's just south. That's too far. Soledad. So we're talking about right about here. So looking at that map. Oh, I'm about to give up. Because I feel foolish. Yeah, I definitely know from San Diego to Sonoma. And I actually lived in Monterey, so I was on the Camino Real. The Rock City. Look for Rock City right at the park. Okay, let me go back to that. That's what I really wanted to do. Oh, Rock City. I think I've heard of it. Mount Diablo. All right. Where's Rock City? Rock City down here? I know. I was so close to hanging up. Oh, you got some. Look at these striations, Look at that. Now, some people might call that terracing. But let's get into the 3D image. That's Rock City right there because of all the rocks, I take it. Where's the pictures of this stuff? Rock City. Campground, Rock City Park, Horseshoe Picnic Area. I gotta go, guys. I'll check it all out later. Thank you for staying. I got 6 viewers. Thank you. I should say now, I should have asked for a thumbs up. I should have asked you to share this video. But like I said, my live streams are basically a clearinghouse of information where I talk to people and I discover new things. Junction Ranger Station. Why do you need a ranger station when you got a nice road like that? The Rhine Canyon. Yeah, we're going there. We're going there. All right, guys, I'm out. Have a good one. End stream. Good night. Good day. Wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.